Oh, here I go. I don't know what happened just now. I want to play at least the countdown. Let me see what just happened. All right, let's see. Let's see. I don't know what just happened. I hope that my mic is working. Let me see my setup. Things can happen on the way to doing a live. Testing, testing, one, two, three. It says my mic is muted. Okay, so there are some technical stuff, things going on here, but I'm not muted. And now I'm unmuted. I'm going to start this live over in 1 minute. I'm not sure what's actually happening. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Give me 1 moment and I shall return. Let me double check something. Give me 1 moment. I just went. So you can hear me. Wow. Sorry about that, folks. I like to be better prepared than this, but it says that things are working. I'm responsible for, or it says something about the Wi-Fi. I'm responsible for showing up and doing the best that I can, but I'm not in charge of technology outcomes. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, or leave a comment. And there is a link that I'm getting ready to put inside of the description so that if you want to come up, you can hit the link and it would allow you to actually come up and appear on the show with me. And I'm going to highlight it. This is the link right here on StreamYard. You will see that same link inside of Facebook as well if you want to come up and give your ideas, your thoughts about this. And I see there's a viewer out there. Thank you. Make yourself be known. Leave a comment so that I can share your comment live on screen. So today's topic is know your values and valuability. Know your values and valuability. And what's the difference between the two? What are values? What is valuability? So, when we think about values, you're thinking about what are your standards for operating. How do you operate in your life? How do you operate in your professional life? For some people, and I say in your professional life because some people are unemployed and their quality of life is just as important as someone who is employed. Sometimes we have better values at work than we do in our personal life. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But what is our valuability? That is where the worth comes in. Sometimes you are doing a task, you're at your job, and you may feel as though they don't value your worth, what you bring to the table. Sometimes you don't know what your own valuability is. In other words, what are you worth if you are providing a service? So, what can happen from time to time? The two can get mixed up. My standards, my personal standards, my professional standards, and my overall valuability. My overall valuability. So, let me give you an example of some values. So, for me, being on time is a value. Having strong professional ethical conduct are values that I have. Integrity is a value. For some people, being clean, being neat, being well dressed, those are values, how they value their appearance. Some people value the way that they speak. They enunciate words, they have great sentence structure, grammar, they write properly. That's their value. So notice that values can happen in different sectors of your life. And many of us have more than one value. Again, our values are our standards of operating. Some people might call it their morals, some people might call it their principles. When I was growing up, it was really important to have manners, to say thank you and welcome. If you were in a household with somebody and you didn't sleep next to them, and even if you did, it was really important to say good morning to people, to have manners. That is a value, that is a standard. Now, when we're working with other people or we are in relations with other people, we want to know what our valuability is. And I have to tell you, I want to be so honest with you. When I first started out with my business, I didn't know my valuability. What do I mean by that? I did not know my worth. I struggled because I didn't know how valuable my work was to the community, to the organization, to an individual. Sometimes we struggle in relationships with people because we don't know how valuable we are in the relationship. What is our valuability? So again, values are our standards. We have standards that we operate in relationships. Are you monogamous? Do you believe in open relationships? We have values in terms of the way we see our family dynamics, the way we perform, what our roles. Our values are inside of that. Now, our valuability, our worth is subjective. Let me say that again. Our valuability is subjective, subjective for us and subjective to other people. Sometimes we feel like people do not value our worth. Sometimes we don't know what our worth is and we don't value our worth. Does that make sense for everybody? Does that make sense for everybody? If so, leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I'll be sure to put it up there. I see that we have some watching. I see some likes. Again, values, our standards. Some people might call it morals. Some people might call it principles. But our values is our standard of operation. Now, let me give you a short story. Our values may not, somebody left a comment. Cherie said yes. So I said, I see that she's in agreement, right? So sometimes, and she's on Facebook, you can also leave a comment on YouTube. So what can happen is you can have one set of values, You can be in relationship, be it with your family, your friends, your colleagues, a company, whatever, and your values, your standard of operation may be different from their standard of operation. And the way you value weight, right? Yourself, your valuability, the way that you see your worth in the company may be different. The way you see your worth in a relationship may be different than the other person. And what can happen because these things are different, because these things are different, it can cause conflict. So, part of my declaration and something that I try to live by is a statement. And here's the declaration: I'm consciously aware of other people's values and I honor those differences. Let me say that declaration again. I'm consciously aware of other people's values and I honor those differences. Why do I say that? Because the conflict can happen. Well, you don't do things the way I do things, and we try to make it a wrong or a right. And when we try to make it a wrong or a right, what happens, it creates a divide between us because our values are different. And because we believe and think that everybody's values are the same or should be the same, we have these expectations around it, and we don't stop to think and say, hey, what's your values in this particular situation? What are your values? Not that it's wrong, not that it's right. It is just what? It is different from mine. Then we can work on how we would like to create an agreement if there's a difference around that. So you ever hear people say, man, I want to get into a relationship with people who share my same values. It'll make it easier. We won't have any conflicts. We won't have difference of opinion. And the truth of the matter is that you're not going to find anybody that 100% shares your values on every little detail in your life. Because people have what? Different values. Now, you might find someone that you share a lot of values with, and that's great. But whether or not you will strike 100, I doubt it very seriously. Can you get close to it? Possibly. But you will not find someone that you and them are aligned 100% in values, because our values are shaped by a lot of different variables. Too many for me to go into right now, but take my word. Now, let's get back to valuability. Same thing. I go to work and I think that I should get a promotion. I think I should get a promotion. And my boss gives somebody else a promotion. Not because the person is better than I am, but their evaluation of what they think is important at that time is that's what they're picking. It could be based in how they perceive the value that the person can bring to the job. You ever heard the expression, don't take it personal? I don't get the promotion, somebody else gets the promotion. My valuability says, listen, I can do the job. I can do it with my eyes closed. I'm the right person. I'm a good fit for it. And then the boss gives somebody else the job because they have a different valuability for that position. There's something that they see in that other individual, some value that that person is going to bring to the organization that I'm not bringing. So therefore, I'm not getting that job. Now, I want to be honest with you. We know that sometimes it's about what? Likability. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Sometimes it's about likability. Sometimes a person, if they like you and you can do the job and you are workable, they can work easily with you, they rather hire you even if there's room for improvement on your skills and knowledge. Why? Because what they value is like ability. People do not want to work with people that they can't get along with. Sometimes people don't want to work with people that they got to train too much for a particular job. So people, when they make their decisions on any given topic, they're looking at a set of values and they're looking at valuability. So understand that people make decisions based on value and valuability. And sometimes our values, personal and professional, are not in alignment with other people's values and valuability. Now, if it's a relationship that's workable and you can talk and communicate and exchange ideas, that's one set of things. But understand that majority of the time, people are in relationships with you because you share some values. And there is a level of valuability on their end and your end. For instance, the people that I have in my network, in my support systems, right? The people that I have in my network, in my support system, I value them. Some, most of the time we share the same value. Not all the time, not on everything. Like I said, that's going to be really hard to see and find, that you find somebody, I don't care what the nature of the relationship is, that you 100% share all values, that you share 100% of the same values. That is going to be a rarity. However, we value each other, our valuability. We feel that we are worth something to be in each other's life. And I hate to say it in that way, that we are worth something, but people do not, excuse me for one second. People do not surround themselves with people that they do not have valuability with. In other words, I bring something to the table, they bring something to the table, and then we move on from there. And you might say, Coach B, that's a hard pill to swallow. Well, I'd rather give you the truth, right, than to mislead you. When you take a look at who's in your support system, who's in your network, where you work at, your friends, all of that good stuff, stop and think, why am I in a relationship with this person? What value do they bring to me? What value do I bring to them? And if you don't know, it's okay to ask. What value do I bring to the organization? What value do I bring to the relationship? And you might discover the value that you think you bring to the relationship may be different than what the person feels your value is. Or you might be happily surprised that, guess what? Oh, what I think I bring to the relationship is the same thing that they value. Or you might have that added thing, meaning, oh, I bring this to the relationship, and they feel that I bring that to the relationship. Again, know your values, what's your standards. Everybody have standards. Everybody has some level of standards. And then what is the valuability? What is the worth of whatever service you're providing, the relationship that you're having, What is the valuability? And again, it is subjective because the way I perceive things, the way somebody else perceives things are two different things. And if you don't know what your valuability is, let me slow down. If you don't know what your valuability is, then why don't you take some time to ask yourself, what do I think I'm worth? Now, for some people, they want to do it as in dollars and cents. Some people want to do it in terms of relationships. Some people want to do it in terms of purpose. Let me break those three things down, starting with purpose first. What is my life worth to me? Am I happy in my life? Am I living up to my purpose? For people that provide a service, they may want to know how much to charge. How valuable is their service to an organization, to an individual? How much time, effort, education? How did they sharpen their skills? How much time are they spending? How much should they charge? What is the value of their service to an organization? What do they perceive their value is? What does the organization perceive their value is? And then other people valuation, right? In terms of valuability in relationships. Is this relationship a value to me? Every year at the end of the year, one of the things that we see people do as a part of the new year, they say, listen, I'm cleaning house. I may be cutting some people off. Every now and then you can see that on social media, Facebook, YouTube, you can see it all over the place. People might make an outward statement. They might do it privately. Maybe you're on the phone and be like, you know what? I think I'm going to be making some serious changes in my life. I'm going to be letting go of some people. Why? Because those people no longer serve a value to them. They may have served a value to them at one time, and now they no longer serve a value. So when the person looked at the valuability in the relationship, they said, you know what? That person no longer serves a value in this relationship. Not saying that the person is not of value, because we never want to say that. Everybody has value. But because the valuability is different, the worth is different, the need is different, the person may no longer serve value. And so therefore people make decisions that's not valuable to me anymore. Jobs do it all the time. Jobs be like, we come to a decision that you're no longer a good fit for the organization. The valuability, the worth has changed. Sometimes I'm making that decision. Sometimes other people are making that decision. Sometimes you're making that decision. Sometimes other people in your life are making that decision. Again, what's your values? What's your standards? What's your standards? And then the valuability. The valuability. What is the worth? It's subjective. Your worth, how you perceive it, how somebody else sees your worth, the service, how you see the worth of your service, how somebody else sees it, could be different. Some people even use words like invaluable. The service that you provide is invaluable. Meaning what? That it can't be touched, it can't be measured. It's invaluable. So it has a high worth. On a scale of 1 to 10, when somebody say your services are invaluable, you might as well say you're about a 9 or a 10. When a person says, listen, you're no longer a good fit for the organization, you're probably about a 3, 2, or 1 for them. Know your value and your valuability. In other words, what's your standards? Know your personal worth. Know your professional worth. Know your personal worth. Know your professional worth. What I'm getting ready to do here, and I'm so sorry. That felt kind of abrupt. I felt like I was in a zone there. And I remember to say, hey, listen, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for being a part of Solution Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me, Coach B, the CEO. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like, and leave a comment. And whew, I don't know. I know I had a rough start earlier today with getting this set up. It looks like I'm having a hard time closing too. And I just don't want to shut it off abruptly. But you know what? I'll see you next Saturday. Thank you.